Hello there, and welcome to Tales of the Force, a place for fans to tell their Star Wars stories. Joining me today is Moshé. He is a lightsaber expert and is known on social media as the Drip Jedi. He likes to describe himself as one part sneakerhead and one part Star Wars fan. Star Wars has given him hope and courage through hard times, even the loss of his father. He encourages people to love what you love. You are a Star Wars fan to him, regardless of what brought you into it, when you started liking it, or what you love about it. Shay will also be going to Fan Expo Chicago this week and can be found at the Legion Sabers booth with his brother. Don't forget, this is Moshé's personal story. It is not my place on the show to dismiss, diminish, judge, or have an opinion on his story. Any views, thoughts, or opinions expressed are his own. Any comments on this episode are expected to be respectful. With all of that out of the way, please join me in welcoming the Drip Jedi himself, Moshé, to Tales of the Force. Well, hey, Moshé, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good. The Drip Jedi. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm
Thank you for
excited to
having me.
talk. Of course, of course. I'm so excited to talk about Star Wars with you
Yeah.
and specifically your journey with it personally and how that has gone with your life and that sort of thing. We'll both be in Chicago very soon, so that's going to
We'll
be
see each
really
other soon.
fun. Yes, I'm so excited. There's so many people that I'm going to get to like meet in person, and that just like makes my heart like so happy because I love the online community, but I am definitely like I don't know. I love the connection like in person. It just
Me
makes
too.
things so much better.
I
So
hope you
I'm
like
excited.
hugs. Expect a hug.
I am a hugger for sure.
I am.
I love it. I love it. And all the lightsabers. I can't wait to like I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Maybe you can
you can
show
see the
me
moves in
the
person.
trick.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I'd love to. I would
exactly.
absolutely love to.
I am very uncoordinated, so it might
I
be a
have my own
little
I have my
interesting.
own method to help you out
I love
for
it.
beginners.
So, what is your favorite? Do you have, if you have one, lightsaber within Star Wars?
Well, every time I get this question, I have
Uh-huh.
to kind of explain it because not many
That's
people
okay.
remember who this guy is. But if you watch, and I'm sure we all have, we watched the Star Wars: The Clone Wars. His name is Nadar Veb. He's Kit Fisto, or was Kit Fisto's former Padawan. It was the episode Lair of Grievous, which I believe is the fourth episode of season one. No, the fourth or
Okay.
eighth. And
Okay.
he was the Mon Calamari Jedi, which is the same species as Admiral Akbar. He was the Jedi Knight who had just graduated knighthood, and he was a little overconfident, so he went to fight Grievous on his own. And
Yes.
Grievous played a dirty trick by taking one of his arms and shooting him in the stomach and pretty much killing him.
Yeah.
His lightsaber is my favorite because I don't know. I just seen that. I think that was like one of the first sabers I've seen up close. Because when I started watching Star Wars, I started with the Clone Wars, but I'll explain that more later. I saw
Yeah.
his saber, and it's just the slim hilt, and it's like it has the vertical black stripe hand grips on it, which is suitable for his hand because he's not a human; he's an alien species. But in my head, I'm like, that looks comfortable to hold. So I'm like, I want my saber to look like that someday because one day I'm gonna make my own saber.
I love it.
If I was to go for a more common answer, I'd probably say Palpatine because I actually have a saber too. It's in my living room, but I like his because it's the gold. I think it's Cortosis. I'm not sure what the metal is, but the gold,
Hmm.
and it's short because I have small hands. I'm a small guy, so
I
small
I
sabers,
have
slim.
small
Yeah,
hands.
me too. So slim sabers, small sabers are my go-to when it's spinning. But I also really love Ahsoka Tano's Clone Wars sabers because
Yeah.
I love Ahsoka. We all do.
I do too. I do
I
too.
didn't
I
really,
mean,
I don't
I
really
have
like
her
her
tattooed
Rebels
on
one
me,
too
so.
much, but I like her. Oh, that's awesome. But I love her Clone Wars one. But Nadar Veb is my
Yeah,
all-time
I
favorite.
I have her Rebels ones from Disney because those are the first ones, like a
Really?
Galaxy's Edge that they have of hers before they did like the Clone Wars ones. And
Mm.
they're really cool and I love that I have them, but like I have really small hands and those things are
And they're
like
really big, aren't they? You got to
massive
get
and
you.
they're
You
so
got to get you
heavy.
some LGT ones next. Come to Legion Sabers. You know what? I'm gonna have two. I'm gonna find two of those for you. Come to Legion Sabers booth. I know we have. I know they have the Ahsoka ones.
I already told my husband, I was like, I mean, it's not like he's like telling me if I can or not, because it's not like that. But like, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
might come home with a lightsaber. He's like, I'm not gonna be surprised if you came home without one. I would be surprised that way. So I'm
I also
excited.
really got into Temple Guard sabers. I like how theirs look.
Theirs
But I
are
like the
cool
plastic ones,
too.
not the two hinge ones.
Yes, and I love their masks too. It's really
Yeah,
just the whole vibe, and their like outfit and everything is like really
like that one
cool.
scene where Anakin was dueling a Barris because he found out the truth. Because she was the one who did the bomb the temple. The temple guard
Yeah,
pull up and they had the sabers. Those sabers. I actually did a video about that on TikTok where I was basically copying Anakin's moves, beating Barris, which is kind of funny to watch. Because on the part where
that's awesome.
they're in a lock. I was the temple guard. Then I was Terra Sanube, and it said, "Should we intervene?" And Terra Sanube's like, "Nah, respect the 1v1." So I made it kind of funny.
I love it. It's
That's my main.
the
That's my favorite
creativity
kind of
that you
video to
have in
do.
all your videos is so cool.
Thank you. I've been doing that one since I think the Kenobi series era, because I like to copy. No, even before that, I like to copy the moves of Jedi and Sith. But the more acrobatic they move, the harder it is. Because I'm not
Yeah,
acrobatic at
it's a
all.
lot. It's insane. And like sometimes I forget like with the movies that they were training like lightsaber training like months ahead of time
Months,
and like the
months.
production cost and stuff that they would go into the budget of basically going to Jedi camp or
I
Sith
would love
camp,
to
I
do that,
guess.
to be honest.
Right? I mean, every time if I see like I've gone to Galaxy's Edge a couple of times and they'll have like, lightsaber training for the kids. I'm like, you guys are missing that there's adults that want to learn how to do this too. Like, y'all should have like, right?
Right? I'm a
Should have
kid, but I'm
like
an adult
adult.
too.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that'd be so fun. Learn how to use like lightsabers in Disney and Vader will come out and they have to fight him and there's like I don't know if you've seen the reel of the little kid that's like going just like ham on Vader.
Seeing
It's
that
like
on Vader,
yeah.
then they're like,
And they're like, okay, let's go. Like the cast members are trying to like get this kid and I mean he's just like, no, I'm gonna
I've
get
seen that.
Vader.
This is for my youngling homies.
Yeah. I will get my revenge. Wait, no, that's not Jedi. So
No, it's not the Jedi list.
so
That's funny.
lightsaber hilt, we know which one is like your top ones.
Everyone go look up Nadar Veb lightsaber. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yes, I
Hmm.
loved that character. I wish we had gotten more
Yeah.
of him honestly, but it was still a good story. I think Clone Wars has such, I like to say little like nuggets, like it has such good things that like
Hmm.
even as adult that you can learn from, but like kids watching that show, like even it
Oh,
starting with like the
I've taken
quote.
some quotes from Clone Wars that I still use in real life today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's such a good
Like
show. I love
like
it.
when Ahsoka lost her lightsaber and lightsaber lost, she went to Terra Sanube for help, and she was so eager to find it. He said, and I still use this today. He goes, and if you don't slow down, he says, slow down, slow. If you don't slow down, you're not gonna
Hmm.
find what you're looking for. And I thought about that, like, dang, that's deep. That's how we all should be in life. Whatever we're trying to
Yeah.
reach, take it slow a little. Some of us are moving too fast. It'll happen when it happens.
Yeah. It's funny. I was actually right before we got on here, I felt very like with Chicago coming up and like work, all the things that I know that I have on my to-do list, right? There's so much that
I
I
feel
have
the same
going on.
way, honestly.
And I felt like very rushed today and like
Hmm.
very like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do and I have so much to do and I have to get on here and I have to do this and this is my list and I find that like when that happens in life, we kind of get a little more short with the people around us.
Mm.
And we were gonna have breakfast for dinner, which I think is like some people are very much against that. I
We do it all
enjoy
the
it.
time.
Yeah, I like it. And we could not find our pancake mix like anywhere. So I was like,
Mm.
all right, I'll run really quickly somewhere like right by our house and I'll grab some and I'll come back. And it was crazy because you saying this quote, the meaning behind me saying this whole story is I look up, it's not raining. There's just some clouds in the sky and there's a double rainbow in the sky. And I just like took a moment and I thought, I need to slow down. I need to like take a breath and I need to know that like, you know what? Yeah, there's a lot on my list right now. I'm getting pancake mix, but like I need to take a beat and slow down and know that like what's going to happen is going to happen and it's
Right.
okay. So I love that you brought up that quote because I was
Hmm.
just
Harrison
thinking
was
about
my
that.
favorite Jedi for real. Because
Yeah.
he said another one after that, at the end of the episode, that kind of goes with that. It's similar. The value of moving slowly is one that one can always clearly see the way ahead. You saw
Yeah.
the way ahead.
I mean, you have to, I don't know, like, I feel like lately in life, I've learned that you kind of have to slow down
You
to
have to.
speed up in a sense. Like, you have to get that good, solid foundation for whatever you're wanting to do. And sometimes you have to take it slow in order to get it really well. And I'm sure with you like learning all of the like lightsaber movements and stuff, I mean that takes time and that
Yes, yes.
takes
See, the way I do videos, I don't do it at their speed. I have to like, I save it and then I go to CapCut, the app I use to edit. And I would like take
yeah.
my thumb and I would drag it and I would just watch the moves as slow as possible. Then I would replicate it as slow as possible. Then I would try to increase the speed and go from there.
Yeah.
People say I
So it's
speed my
like
videos up. Nope, all real. Mhm.
it's a lot of practice, right?
It is very much so.
Yeah. So if you went to find your lightsaber crystal, we're keeping with the lightsaber theme here.
Yeah.
What music would play in your head when you found your crystal?
Oh, what music? I don't
Or
even.
like think of
Okay,
like soundtrack, like is there a song that
this
you're like,
one,
"Oh, my crystal?
this one might not. This not a lot of people might know this one, but I love the game Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's an online, massive multiplayer online role play game
Yes,
that I
I love
play
it
with
too.
my friends. You love it too. We should play sometime.
Yeah.
And I love playing the Jedi Knight storyline the most. That's my favorite storyline because it's the first storyline I ever played. I don't know if you remember, but the level where the Jedi character, your character, the Jedi Knight, goes up to the forge and crafts his or her crystal. The music that was playing in that scene is probably what I would picture. Because I actually did a video on that too.
There you
I don't
go.
know, I forget how it goes, but I don't even know what it's called. But that's what played in my head.
I love it.
Um,
That's
and I would
that's a
test it out.
great that's a great song. And it's Star Wars too. So I mean it's like
It's very
epic,
much Star
like
Wars.
all the
Hmm.
Star Wars music is so
I've made
good
plenty of
and
Old Republic videos. The Old Republic admin actually follows me.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I haven't seen
It's
him in a
I
while though.
mean, you got to give love to all the different things because there's so much. There's so much. There's the games, there's the books, comics,
Right.
like movies, shows, animation. Like there's so many aspects of Star Wars, which is one of the things that I love about it because you can kind of find your niche in a way. And even with the shows, like they're expanding on different genres, like, but doing it within the Star Wars universe. And I love it. And it's not
Hmm.
going to hit everybody the same. And that's one of the things where I'm like, hey, you know what? If a show doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. Like, not a big deal.
Right.
There's going
Right.
to be another option for what you like. And I know they just recently released the trailer for Skeleton Crew, and it just looks so cute to
I
me.
haven't
Like,
seen that yet, but I've seen all the
yeah,
tweets. I gotta watch that
yeah,
later.
you need to watch it. It looks really good. I'm excited for it. I think it looks like so fun and such another like different take
And to be
on
honest, I haven't
Star
even
Wars.
I was never too excited for Scout. Well, to be honest with you, the only reason I wasn't is because there's no sabers. But I've
Yeah.
grown past watching Star Wars just for the sabers. I love story. Like I
Yeah.
think it was the Bad Batch. I started watching Bad Batch, and it was all mostly clones, right? So there was no sabers. So I loved
Yeah.
watching story, and then from there I started watching other shows, because of the story. So I'll watch it. I just need to get into it if that makes sense for the story.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. It is a little bit different to watch something that like isn't focused on what in our minds like initially like maybe comes to mind when you think of like Star Wars. But I always tell people too, like, but if that's what you like that doesn't like negate your experience as a Star Wars fan. Like I love the deeper meanings and different things that you can find in it. I do also enjoy the action and the sabers and all that kind of stuff,
Yes,
but the other part of it is like bigger for me. But just because of that, that doesn't mean that like if people just like it for the effects or if people just like it for the lightsaber battles, like that doesn't make them like less of a
any
fan
less of a
or
fan. No,
whatever.
of course not. Because I know
So,
I'm a saber guy. I'm a saber guy,
yeah,
but there are things I do love about Star Wars. It's not sabers. Like I said, I love the Bad Batch. That's one of my favorite shows.
it's good. And I think that's what continues to help make Star Wars what it is to this day is that it has such a variety to it. And I think
Hmm.
that keeps it alive in a sense because once a franchise or a story kind of becomes stagnant and they don't try new things or they don't try different approaches or they don't look at it from like the next generation's like perspective, it's gonna just like fizzle out.
Right,
If you even like music, if you look at artists, like most artists know that they are going to be successful if they continue to get younger generations of fans.
right.
And I think it's kind of similar with storytelling. You've got to keep
You
it
gotta adapt.
going. Yeah. Yeah. So back to when you first started into Star Wars, was there anything that you can think of that got you into it?
Well, when Star Wars, okay, well, obviously when it came out, I wasn't born, or I wasn't thought of yet. But when the prequels came out, episode one, two, and three, obviously, I think I want to say I was 7 or 8 years old. I went to a private school. Me and my brother went to a private school when we were little called Montessori. You
Yeah.
learn like important life skills in that school.
Yeah.
And one of my classmates, I forget, I remember his name. His name was Patrick. I can't remember his last name though. He was throwing a birthday. His birthday was coming up. He was throwing a birthday party, and it was Revenge of the Sith theme. He invited me to it, but A, I didn't know him too well, and B, I didn't know what Star Wars was, so I didn't go. And everyone the next day was like, "Where were you at? Why didn't you come? We were expecting to see you or whatever." They told me how the party goes, how it went with Darth Vader. We had Darth Vader this. And they was saying all these Star Wars terms that I know now, but at the time I'm looking at them like, that's cool, but I didn't go because I didn't know what it was. So prequel era, I didn't watch it at all. Like a lot of my mutuals say they've watched it since they were little. I didn't. I started watching Star Wars when the Clone Wars came out, so I was a
Mhm.
little late per se, but no one's too late. But when the
No,
Clone Wars
yeah.
had came out, yeah, when the Clone Wars came out, I remember. I still remember it to this day. It was the first episode actually with Yoda, Ambush, where he's trying to get the king of I can't remember that name planet to join the Republic or the Separatists, and Ventress and Yoda was trying to get on him on their side, and Yoda of course won, and he was slicing through all the droids, and I didn't see him in episode two. I saw this. So when he had flipped into action, ignited his saber, and started slicing him down, I'm like, whoa, okay, what's this? And it got me interested. That was the first time I saw a saber. And then I kept watching it because it was on Cartoon Network at the time, so you had to wait like a
Mhm.
week to see the next episode. Uh, I skipped maybe like 2 or 3 episodes after that because there was no sabers. But I remember the episode. I'm really bad at remembering names, but it was the episode where
That's okay.
Luminar Unduli, Ahsoka, they had Newt Gunray captured. It was season one, and
Yeah.
Ventress was sent to rescue him. And it was that episode where Luminar and Ventress are dueling each other. The more I saw sabers, the more it got me into it. And then the one before that, where they had that astromech droid,
Mhm.
because R2 was out of commission at the time, but he was actually working for the Separatists, working for Grievous. And then Ahsoka pulled up and then started dueling Grievous single handedly as a Padawan. the more sabers I saw, the more it drew me into it. And then I saw the one I was talking about earlier, Lair of Grievous. And then I think it was at that episode I decided to watch the movie. So I saw episode one, but again, I didn't know what it was too much either. So I'm trying to figure out names and timelines. So I watched episode one first, and then I'm seeing like all these characters who I don't know yet. Then I watched episode two, which definitely got my attention because of the battle
Mhm.
Geonosis scene. And then of course we
Mhm.
saw Yoda duel Dooku. I imagine the 1977 fan seeing that for the first time.
Yeah.
And then of course I watched episode three. And I had to kind of rewatch all that over and over to really understand it before watching like the originals. And I guess just the more I watched it, the more I got into it, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
TikTok wasn't a thing at the time, so I didn't make content at all either. But we did have toy sabers that that flick out. Everyone's had that at
Mhm.
some point. And I remember seeing one of those from Walmart where it was Anakin's hill and it actually sprung out with a button. I got it, but I don't know what I did with it. But I remember playing with that, and yeah, every time I tell the story, like that's what got me into it was the Clone Wars. It wasn't even when the prequels first came out. I wish it was, but we start somewhere.
I find it so cool that
Hmm.
people can come into Star Wars at different times because you have, I think, so many people that maybe it definitely didn't start with like my generation. I'm like such a millennial, but like maybe Gen X. I don't know. But we're like, oh, you have to watch Star Wars in this order and do it this way. When you get into it, and then people came up with that like machete order or whatever, and like people have these like online arguments about how to start Star Wars, and
To be
it's
honest,
like,
whenever someone asks me that, I'm just like,
yeah,
just watch it. It'll all
yeah,
fall in place. That's how I did it
yeah.
because I watched
It
the
doesn't really
originals,
matter.
Clone Wars
Yeah.
originals. Yeah, it doesn't. It's gonna fall in place.
Yeah, there's different reveals at different times. So like you
Right.
might know something from here, but then it might storyline make more sense. And I think like everyone's brain's like a little bit different and we follow storylines a little bit different. And so like jumping
Right. Right.
around like in release order can be hard for some people to follow, and we might be losing people that might love Star Wars if they watched it like in either chronological like storyline, not necessarily chronological like release order, but like storyline order. It might make a little bit more sense. So I love it when other people are like, oh no, I started like this way, or I watched this movie and then this one, or Clone
It
Wars.
will
Like
all
I
fall in
love
place,
it.
and then you'll see all the realizations. Like, oh, that's what that's because I had one of those. I was like I said before I even got into Star Wars. The of course famous line, "I am your father," from Episode
Mm-hmm.
5. It's so famous that it's in like different shows. It's in different
Yeah.
movies. I was watching Fairly Odd Parents one day. It was the episode. I don't know if you watched
Oh,
that growing up,
solid
but it was
show.
yeah. It was the episode where Timmy had he wished for a magic mic that'd change his voice, and one of his friends grabbed it and said, "Luke, I am your father." Man, this thing is cool. And I heard that. I'm like, that part's funny. I get to episode, then years later, I get to episode 5 where he says it. I'm like, that's where that came from? And then got me into it even more. When you hit those realizations, like, whoa, that's what that is.
Yeah, yeah, it happens in like so many other things too. Because I feel like I'm
Right?
so behind in some movies, like
I'm very
outside
behind in
of
movies. I
Star
miss a lot of
Wars.
movies.
Yeah, and so I'll watch something. I'm like, oh, that's where. Like I know people quote that, but okay, that makes
Right.
sense.
It'd be cool too, like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. The contents makes a little bit more sense, like
Right.
but I don't know. Yeah, it's just like such a phenomenon when something becomes like such a huge part of pop culture. And
Hmm.
I've talked with my parents because like they saw it in their early 20s, like originally when it came out in the 70s. And so it just blows their mind to see like how massive it's become. And then for me to love it as much as I did when they're like, we just were showing you a cool movie that we liked, like the fact that it has turned into,
Blew up so big.
yeah, it's just
Because my parents saw
crazy.
it. They told me both my parents they saw it when it came out, but they weren't like into it. But they saw it.
Yeah.
Now, if my mom was into it and she saw how big it got, she's not really into it like me and my brother are. It's just she lets us do our thing. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But she knows we love
Yeah.
Star Wars. So anytime she'll see something Star Wars, she'll get it first. despite
I
what
love
era
it.
it is.
I love it.
We had to teach her a long time though what the difference is though between that and Star Trek. No hate to Star Trek, but we're not into that
Right.
either.
It's different. Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. And that's like, they talk about like Star Wars having so many movies and shows, and I'm like, not as much as some of the other like fandoms, like Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so much. Doctor Who is so much. There's
Best friend who loves Doctor Who.
so
She's
much.
trying to get me to get into it. I gotta watch it sometime.
I kind of want to too, but again, it's like, but I have only so much time, and
That's the thing is, we're not kids no
Star
more.
Wars
We
is
are
always
adults,
going to
so we
come
don't have
first to
time to do
me.
everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately,
And then like we get into our habits of like rewatching like our favorite things because it's just like, I don't know, like our
it's just a
comfort
comfort
places.
movie, comfort show.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, that's mostly Star Wars.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because people think people think like when they see my content, I'm all only Star Wars. That's why I like to do other stuff too to show like
Hmm.
I love stuff besides Star Wars. I
Yeah.
love SpongeBob. I'm a big SpongeBob fan.
Oh, I love SpongeBob too.
My parents are musicians, so we
Awesome.
grew up with music. So I love '80s and R&B. I'm more than just Star Wars.
Yeah.
And that's what a
Yeah.
lot of us are.
Yeah. I think maybe why some people like it again is because there's so much to it. Like it's not just one thing. Like the music is incredible. The costumes are incredible. Like
Yeah,
um
the
people love the world
storylines.
building. They like the story. You might not like this part of it, but like this other thing might really intrigue you because of what you else you like in life. So
Yeah,
I love that Star Wars is like that because I don't know, like I could be wrong. There could be something else that's kind of similar, but I have yet to find something that just encompasses so many different interests that people can have as like Star Wars. And I feel like it's such a comfort to so many people. Like it's gotten me through so much. Has it helped you in life as you've like grown up?
uh, I don't know about growing up, but it's definitely helped me recently, which I'll explain in a little bit too.
Yeah.
Me and my brother both went through a really rough time 2 years ago, and making Star Wars content and watching all the new Star Wars shows helped us get through it all, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's nice to find those things that can, I don't know, give us a little peace and also like give us something to do so that you're
yeah,
not
something
like
to
just consumed with whatever was going on in life.
do. Right.
But it is nice to have something that you can kind of have like a safety net in almost
Hmm.
and give you, I don't want to say distraction because I feel like that cheapens it a little bit, but to an extent,
Yeah,
it
it's
kind
not
of,
really
it kind of is.
not even an escape or distraction, just something to you know help you through it, I guess. You know.
Yeah. 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 I've shared a lot how Ahsoka has helped me a lot as an adult, through my mental health journey and through a lot of things and even like in a lot of insecurities that I have about myself. I mean, I know we both joked about holding lightsabers and having like small hands, but I'm a very small, like petite person. And
I am too.
I've always been given so much grief for being small. Um, yeah,
Same, same,
like
same. Like literally
I
same.
would have like a
Body
million
shaming.
dollars. I think if I had like even just a penny for every time throughout my life at different ages, someone told me I should go eat a hamburger or something. Like,
Exactly.
it was hard. And so, I know it sounds silly, but like to see someone in a character like Ahsoka say swords and these things aren't what make you strong, or to see someone like Yoda say size matters
Size
not,
matters not. Right.
And it sounds, I mean, silly to some people, maybe on the outside, but for me to have that to go back to, even as an adult, and to see in these stories, these characters like not just helping themselves, but helping those around them and their communities and their friends and their family or found family. It's so inspiring to see that and then be able to go, you know what? I can do that. I can do that. I know this is a fictional story and a fictional character, but like if they can do it, I can do it too.
Right.
So it's nice to
Like
have
the
that.
same way. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. What other, I know you've talked a little bit about some of the characters that you like, but is there any more that have like kind of stood out to you personally?
Um, well, I do love Ahsoka,
Yeah.
but character wise, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I just pay most more attention to action, mostly. But I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
do like, yeah, I do love Anakin. Yeah, I love Anakin's character. Like, he was a good guy. He just let the wrong people whisper in his ear. He
yeah,
made some bad choices, but he's always one of my favorites. I'm pretty sure he's a lot of our favorites.
yeah,
And Obi-Wan too, because Obi-Wan, he did a great job with Anakin, even though some people disagree, like he's the reason he turned, which is ridiculous. He would have turned regardless. Those are
yeah,
his choices. And Obi-Wan did a
yeah,
good job teaching him. People was like, what if Qui-Gon had taught him? Okay, well, if Qui-Gon taught him, he would still have those temptations and those future choices that he could inevitably make. So it's not really who teaches him; it's really what he does. So he could still slaughter the Tuscan people and what was it? He could still lose his cool because his mom had got insert blank and been killed by the Tuscans, or
yeah.
Palpatine promising all these powers when it's no power at all. So really, it's up to the character. But Obi-Wan did a good job with Anakin, so he's one of my favorites. And he's a smooth Jedi too.
Yeah.
I love the smooth Jedi. Oh, and then speaking of smooth Jedi, I love Cal Kestis.
Yes,
But what's funny is I've
yes.
never even played the games. I will soon though, 'cause I'm gonna get a new PC soon. But I've never even played Jedi Survivor or
I
Jedi
haven't
Fallen Order.
either.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm behind on games and I'm not
I
very
am
good at
too, and that's
them.
because I don't really have any good game with currently. My brother does though. He has a Nintendo Switch, so he's gaming right now actually.
That's awesome. Yeah,
But
I am not the best at games too, and so I've always joked like, like some people will stream, like they'll Twitch, like stream like their game, like and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd be like the opposite of like a good gamer people would watch. I'd be like, watch this girl get slaughtered every 5 seconds.
I just got into Fortnite actually, and I'm still learning it. It's fun though. I don't care about being good or bad. I just want to have fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
same, same.
I want to game for fun, and I want to set up my Twitch. Y'all come chill. We can game for fun.
I am good at Donkey Kong though. I don't know
Oh, that's what's
how.
up.
But like I have some people they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll play Donkey Kong with you," because we have like one of the like when they re-released the Super Nintendos, like
Hmm.
we did get one of those
That was one
and
of our dad's favorites, I think.
oh, it's great. And like
Now
I don't know
Mario
why
Kart
I'm so
Wii.
good at it, but somehow I'm great at Donkey Kong.
Now Mario Kart Wii. Friendships will be ruined.
There was something I saw that was like people will not understand the horrors of your childhood of like Rainbow Road, like in Mario
Rainbow Road
Kart,
is
like
is terrifying. Like
trying to
it's
stay
first of all it's
alive.
long, and then there's like no gap, so you're always falling.
Yes, yes.
But
Oh,
I did beat
oh,
it at
so
one
hard.
point. I did beat the game.
Like with the racing and stuff, even when I saw it in theaters again this year in The Phantom Menace, like the pod racing,
Hmm.
Disney needs to do a pod racing ride.
Pod
Like, oh
racing.
my
Yeah,
gosh. That would be so sick. Like so sick. Like, where you get
that
to
would
drive
really
your
do
own
it.
little pod, like even if it's like one of
Everyone would race to get the one Anakin drove.
yes. I don't know. I just think it'd be so fun. Like how fun would it be to be able to like get on one and like I don't know. It'd
So
be so
like an actual track or like more of a VR kind of thing.
I think more of a VR would
Yeah,
probably
because a track would be
be
crazy.
yeah, it'd have to be more like of a VR situation where
Hmm.
almost like maybe some of the Avatar rides where they have like all the different bays, but I don't know how that
Yeah,
would work if you're like actually steering and I don't know. They've
they
kind of the
figured that out.
engineers, like the Imagineers, they can figure it out.
They can
I
figure that
just
out.
want to ride
These are
it.
just the ideas.
And I'll just like hit like every obstacle every time.
Oh, I
It'll be
probably would
bad,
too.
but
Because the closest thing to that I've done is the level on Lego Star Wars, the complete saga
yeah,
on Wii.
I know a lot of people in like the Knights of the Old Republic game, you can like make one of the ways you can make money is like pod racing. And
I haven't
I
played
know
that.
it's so fun.
I
And
gotta play that one.
Yeah, it's really fun. I like the storyline a lot and everything. And I'm always like, okay, I know like the first couple of times I can do it and I can do like okay. But if I try on some of the other planets, I'm just dumping money trying to like, because I'm like paying for the fee to do it and then I never win. And so I'm like, okay, I can't even.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
go
that's just.
make money.
Let me go find another side quest.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, there's so much.
And just
But
like that, there's so much Star Wars, like Knights of the Old Republic. There's stories
yeah,
they could build on that. I'm waiting on them to make a live action that.
I hope they do. I don't know if they will. I mean, we all know the struggles that the fandom can go
Yeah,
through.
I know where
And
I know where that's going.
yeah, and I just think people they hold on to that era and that game very tightly, just like a
So
lot
they
of the
wouldn't want it
other
to be
things.
ruined.
Right. And so that would be a very like tread lightly type situation that
It really
I
would.
don't I think so many people would enjoy it and would love it more than maybe people being overly critical of it. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know if they would take that risk because if they mess it up too much, like, I mean, not that they would mess it up, but in certain people's minds, maybe in certain people's
Yeah,
opinions, mess it up, then um, that could be a hard one. So I don't know.
yeah, it could be.
Maybe
Maybe, but
someday they'll do it.
that's an idea because like there's other eras.
Yeah, and there's some really cool lightsaber stuff in that game too. Like
Yeah,
and characters and
that's
you can do a lot
LaShawn.
of different colors. You can like go on a lot of quests to like get different crystals and stuff, which is
Ooh,
really fun. So you can like it's interesting because like the sabers in that game, I don't know if it's in other games or if it's in other like lore, but you can put different it's like you can put different crystals besides just like a kyber crystal in your crystal to make it do like different things better. And I'm
ooh,
sure it's just part of the like RPG part of the game to like increase, damage or increase different things. And that's how they created it. But I don't know. It
that
would be
sounds interesting.
interesting to see them like, I don't know, like,
You
is
can
there
do
more
that
than
on
one
Old
crystal?
Republic, but I played that
Yeah.
mostly.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's fun. But I think the lightsabers are super cool and it's so different and I don't know, just unique in everything.
Let's be
It's
real.
just
Let's be real. Lightsabers is the reason why a lot of us love Star Wars
yeah. Yeah. And there's
since Episode
absolutely
4.
nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
And it turns into like a whole like I don't know, like passion and collecting and like you were saying about maybe like even making your own for
Yeah,
yourself someday, like
one
that'd be
day I will,
cool.
because I have mutuals on TikTok who are bigger than me, but that's okay. We don't compare. We're all
Yeah.
good friends, but they have their own. They actually have saber companies that they work with, and they made their own sabers. So I'm like, one day I'll do that.
That'd be cool.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. It would be like you'd have to make it like I don't know, like it would probably be the coolest looking one, right? Because I mean,
I'm picturing something slim like Nadar Veb's, but not like
yeah,
his. I don't want my saber to look like someone's. It'll look like mine. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So something like his. The rest is me. Maybe like the scene in the Old Republic, the first cinematic where Darth Vindican and Malhavis are walking down the ship right before they duel Satil Shan and her master. If you look at Darth Vindican's saber hilt real closely, how black and shiny it was, like that's how I want mine to look. I think it's called gunmetal, the color. Gunmetal,
yeah.
black, really shiny, something like that. And then
That's
Kimar from the
cool.
Acolyte, his saber was black and shiny, so I kind of
I
like black
love
hilts.
his lightsaber. I
Hmm.
love it.
Yes, he
I
split it
love
in
how
two.
it comes apart. I just think it's so cool.
That was some Cal Kestis right there, to be honest. Split it apart,
Yeah. Oh,
split
I
saber.
just think it's so cool. I don't know. I love all the lightsaber things and I don't know, all the different things about the crystals and I'm curious to see as I get into past the story that we're in, like
Hmm.
what are lightsabers going to look like? Like will they have a different look to them? Like where are they going to get all their crystals? Like all that kind of stuff. Just all that is just kind of fun to think about
I read
too.
somewhere that way back in the way before the Old Republic, that lightsabers had to be attached to like a battery belt, and they had to wear
Mm-hmm.
it as a belt. And if another person's saber cut it, that saber would turn off. And that's when they had discovered tamper crystals and the electronics, so they could do it like wirelessly, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now, that would be pretty interesting. I can't remember where I read it from though. I think it was a comic.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be interesting to see, like,
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you think
would be
about the
cool though.
cross guard hilts? I know some people
I'm
have
gonna
a
be
strong
honest with you. I don't like
thoughts.
cross guards, to be honest. I
Yeah.
make TikToks all the time about it, but I'm not gonna lie, they look cool. But as far as me as wielding one, no, because I always think to myself, the side sabers, I can't remember what it's called. There's a word for it. It would throw
Yeah.
my, it would throw it off when I spin because of the weight, I'm guessing. But I've never spun
Yeah.
one to be honest. But that's what I'm thinking in my head. Now, Kylo Ren's was the first one we ever saw. I don't like his, but Cal Kestis's from the Jedi Survivor, I'll admit, looks pretty cool. But
Yeah.
then
They
again, it's
look
probably because it's
cool.
Cal.
I would see, I'm already like, I would hurt myself with like a real lightsaber, obviously, because I'm like
I would
not
too.
very
I mean,
coordinated.
even with
But
my
you
skills,
add
I'm not
that
wielding
to
a real
it,
saber.
I'd be
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
my fingers would be gone.
Unless you had one like Silent Geo's where it's like guarded with metal. But still,
Yeah.
I would hurt myself too.
Yeah. Yeah. But then it's like, that's got to get hot too, you would think. I don't
That's
know.
true too. Indeed.
I mean, but
I
real
don't
world
know.
physics does not apply in Star
Real
Wars.
world
So,
physics don't. But if you look at Soul's lightsaber from the Acolyte, the emitter's like really burnt. So like in my head, I'm like, did it get hot or something?
yeah. 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 I love when they do, I can't remember, but it's like that rainbowy looking, like, not char, but it's like, I don't know, like it looks used and it
Yeah,
looks like,
yeah.
and then like I think it's the Wookiee and, oh my gosh, is it Gunji in the
Gunji,
Clone
yeah.
Wars?
Gunji,
I love Gunji.
my
And
boy.
like his lightsaber is so cool with the wood. Like I
It
just
reflects him and his culture, like the Brylock tree.
yes.
His
I
only
love that's
only
one of the
wood
things
from
I
the
love
Brylock
that
tree
Star
is a
Wars
strongest
does.
metal. Yes,
Yes, yes. I love how like even in the Clone Wars you kind of see it how like if like a culture like it's like Luminara, like her whole attire is very much embarrassed, like it's very much like with their culture. It's not just like the traditional like Jedi robes,
yes. I made a video about that the other
And
day.
yeah, and I love that. And like how there was, yes, there was certain things that you did, but like I love how like Lucas and Filoni, who like, because he did a lot, obviously, did the Clone Wars like with Lucas, but like there's so much intentionality behind that, and I don't know. I love how it's one of those what we could be more like in the real world. You know what I
Right.
mean? Even through like a kid's cartoon, showing how if someone's culture is this way or the other, just because it's a little different doesn't
Doesn't
mean
mean, yeah.
that it's bad or that it's like scary because it's different or like whatever. And I don't know. I love how Star Wars, I just love how Star Wars does that. Is there any
It's
like
Star Wars.
lessons that you've learned through watching Star Wars?
Lessons I've learned. Take your time, the slow one.
Yeah.
The size matters not as a big one because, like you said, I'm also very small. Like I've been small my whole life. I got picked on for being small. Still do as an adult. But
Yeah.
I listen to that quote by Yoda. Then I would watch scenes like when Dooku is training Savage, and you look at how towering Savage is to Dooku, but he's obviously more skilled. So it's more about it's here, but their body size isn't what matters.
Yeah.
So definitely that. And any more lessons? I can't really think about it, to be honest with you. But I know they're there. I know they're there.
Yeah. There's just a lot.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Is there any more like things with Star Wars that you like really, I don't know, want to share with everybody listening
Um,
or with like your life and how that's kind of intersected?
it's just, and it goes back to sabers that you see a lightsaber in Star Wars, and you can see how it works. And to own like all these for myself, it's just something about holding a saber makes you feel powerful. Like
Yeah.
nothing can go wrong. Like you are unstoppable.
Yeah.
You know, and when I made my content, I actually started with the actual flick out toys. And I was taking some college classes at the time. And I used the laptop that I'm using right now to make like a few saber edits. So I would put the actual saber blade on the toy, so it looked like I had a saber. Then I
That's
would
awesome that you
on
could do
the
that
very
though.
first saber, and now I have actual character sabers. So it's like how do I go from here to about to go to Chicago with a whole bunch of other sabers?
Right? You have to
So
start somewhere.
you got to start somewhere, y'all.
It's taking that little step and just like moving in it. And sometimes
This
it's
is actually
slower.
the hilt.
Oh, I love it.
This is my first hilt that I bought when I started making content.
That's
I
so
keep it
cool.
because it's the first hilt. It's dead and broken though.
That's
It's seen some
okay.
things.
It's okay. It's good. It's good to have, I think, those things and those memories. And it's like
Mhm.
when people start a business and they save like their first dollar,
Right, that's
from
my
their
first dollar.
sale. Yeah. You should like frame it like in a shadow box or something and be
So
like
many
first
saber stands,
saver.
I'll probably display it.
Yeah.
I
That's
never
so
use them though.
cool. I don't know. It's like you've gotta start somewhere and you have to I mean, there wouldn't be growth if we didn't have to learn something. And
Hmm.
I think that's something that I hope I continue to do as I get older is that I never like stay stagnant. Like that I continue to try to learn something and I continue to try to grow and I don't just like get stuck in something
Yeah,
because I mean, I think even just in life it just makes it better for you, for better for those around you. I think it can be I don't know, your body can feel better even,
yeah, yeah.
just like letting things go and learning new things, keeping your brain sharp, I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's just a good thing I think to try to do. So it's but at the same time, it's good to have those mementos and those like memories and to remember where you started. I mean,
Remember where I
you
started?
know,
Like
I don't know where this will go. I don't know what will happen
I
from
don't either.
starting a
I'm just
podcast,
flowing with
but
it. But you know
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I can tell you're doing great. First of all,
Oh, thank you.
you're gonna encounter some pretty big people soon. I'm the
Oh,
first one.
thanks. Yeah.
It's gonna be huge. I'm the
Well,
first one,
thank
y'all.
you. Yes. Yeah. Well, I love people getting to have a place to like share their story, like, and I think that any fan, regardless of what they do or, if they have social media or not or YouTube or, you know, I don't have cool lightsaber moves,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
I can
You will
talk
when
to
you go
people who
home.
do.
Trust me, by the time you go home, you'll learn a thing or two. I got you.
We'll see. We'll see. Oh goodness, but no, yeah, I'm so
Anyone can
glad
spin a
that we were
lightsaber.
able to make this happen and have
Oh
and
yeah,
talk about Star Wars. It's so fun and get to do it like even states away. Like how cool is that,
that is amazing. Yeah,
It's really neat. So are you excited about Chicago?
I'm over the moon, elated. Because first of all, it's my first con. I've been talking about doing cons for a while because I've never traveled. Like I said, this is my first time on a plane, so I've never traveled. I've never gone anywhere. I see all my
Yeah.
mutuals there at cons there with other mutuals that I know. They're meeting each other, but you're at home and all that, and then like the FOMO is so huge right now, so big.
Yeah.
You're in the comment section typing them up like but you're at home. So I've been talking about wanting to do it for a while. And Georgia, I don't know why this is, but Georgia's boring. There's never anything here. Except Dragon Con. But other than that, I've never heard of any big cons where the mutuals will come to me. So
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I got to get out there somehow. So the other day, Matt from Legion Sabers invited me to come, with him and Coach Izzy the Jedi Ninja to spin sabers at Chicago.
I
And I
love
was
it.
like, yeah, and I was like, absolutely. But it's my first time on a plane, and it's just me, my mom, and my brother. I had to run by my mom. I don't care how that sounds. I had to tell my mom about it, and she was like, she was cool with it. She just told me to be safe.
Of
I'm
course.
25, but she was just like, be safe, and she wanted my brother to go with me. That way, I'm not alone on my first time.
Yeah.
So Zion,
Yeah.
you'll meet him too. My brother Zion, he's coming too. who's also a
I
Star Wars
love
creator,
it.
by the way.
Oh, I love it. I
Oh
love it.
yes.
We should have done that together. We'll have you both come on again sometime, or
Oh,
if you can
oh, I'd
come.
love to. He would love to. But and yeah, I'm absolutely excited because I'm gonna see some of my mutual. I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna see Anakin Monkey. He's another that's my saber homie. He can show you a few things too. He's amazing. He never shows his face, but he's amazing.
Hey, that's okay. I know a lot of people are like
That's
that.
his thing
So,
though. No hate. That's his thing. But
yeah,
who else is gonna be there? I'm trying to remember big names. I think he said comic fan expo sending him on the trip. That's why he's going, which is cool to hear.
that's awesome.
But a
Yeah.
few others, I know they're there. Again, I know they're there. I just can't think of it right now. But yeah,
Hey,
you see
it's
some
hard
names
to
on
think of names all at one time.
all
There's
this
a
one.
lot of things to remember. And it makes me think of when people have to give speeches, especially award speeches, and they'll come up with their paper because they're like, I can't forget somebody. I know my mind would just be like, I
Absolutely.
know I'm going to forget somebody. I'm so sorry.
I can say that's one thing about I love about creating is it's given me like I guess the confidence to speak because I've made speech videos all the time about important issues. So I have no fear
Yeah.
of speaking in public anymore. In high school, I did though,
Yeah. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think Star Wars, a lot of people have shared on here that it's given them the confidence to try new things, to
Yes,
meet new friends and make friends, to try new skills and all kinds of different things. And it's just, again, wild to me that like a movie that came out in 77 that's become this huge thing has created such an amazingly positive impact in people's lives.
for
It's
sure.
helped people get through, like with me, like mental health issues, loss, hard times just in life, struggling in life, or how to handle when things go well. And you get to a point where you're like, hey, I'm kind of must be doing something right because people are asking me to come to a con or different things like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's
and
how I feel
Star
about
Wars,
it.
yeah, and Star Wars even still is like, this is what you got to do. This is how you can handle that and like in the best way. And so I don't know. I don't know. I could nerd out and talk about
I
Star
can
Wars and
too. You're
all the
all
things
good.
forever.
I'm a proud nerd. I am not ashamed of it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I love that your family's getting to go with you again. I love how Star Wars
Well,
has
it was
that
just me and my
family
brother. My
community.
mom wanted to go, but she had to work. Got to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
But the
But I'm
next
glad
time,
he's getting
definitely.
to go with you though. That'll
Yeah.
be some good core memories,
Oh
to
yeah, core memories. Maybe I should make
to
TikToks like that. Based on, I'm trying to think of like what kind of content I'm gonna make besides like saber spinning. Maybe trending
yeah.
audios. My bro Miles hit me up about some of his ideas. I'm gonna do with him. I'm trying to think of some stuff.
There's a lot. And I think it's like I've like been like, "Oh, what can I do that would be fun?" And then I get nervous cuz I'm like, well, what if a line takes longer for this, or what if this happens? And so, because I've only gone to one, this will be my second convention to go
So,
to.
how many days you gonna be there?
I'm going to be there all 3 days.
Me too. We'll see
Yeah,
a lot of each other then.
I'll be there all 3 days. I tried to not do too many things. I obviously have to see Hayden. Like that will happen
Yeah,
everywhere that he's there and I'm there. So I have like an autograph, a picture with Mark, with a friend because I was too nervous to do it by myself.
yeah.
It's like I'm gonna scream, cry, and throw up all at the same time. No, not really. But it's yeah. But then I wanted to spend time not just in line. Like I wanted to be able to like see people and meet people and like look at all the amazing art and different like sabers and different. I don't know. Like there's just so much stuff,
So
and
much to
I don't.
do.
Yeah, and I don't want to spend it the whole time just like sitting in a line. So try to keep it somewhat balanced so that there was like a good mixture of different things and not overwhelming myself with too.
I should say you'll have time. I mean, I've never been on a con, but if you're there all 3 days, I'm sure you'll have time to do everything.
Yeah, there's a
You know
lot.
what I'm
And
saying?
it's like my first one was MegaCon and it was so crazy because it
I
was so
almost
big.
went to that one, to be honest. It was last
Yeah.
minute though.
Yeah,
In
it was
Florida,
fun.
right?
I had a good time. Yes, it's in
Because I'm right
Orlando.
under above Florida.
Yeah, yeah, so it wouldn't be too far. It wouldn't be too
Mhm.
far.
Probably just drive.
So, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like that would be a very long trip for me to drive. I've done it before. I have made a drive, done a drive to Orlando, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that again because it was like 16 hours, I think, and it was a little too
I think
long.
the next big one that I'm doing with Legion Sabres is LA Comic Con, which is of course in LA. I'm not sure if I'm going to that
Yeah,
one yet though, but I hope so.
yeah, yeah. That would be awesome. Yeah,
Right?
you
Because
gotta
most of my
go.
media mutuals are in LA. Balance of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Forces, Isabella Amidala, Carly King, and a few others.
Yes, yes. They got to get you out there, go do all the things, meet
Hmm.
all the people.
Right?
All the cool lightsabers. Oh, I love it. I love
Absolutely.
it. Yes. Oh, fun. I'm so excited.
Me
I'm
too.
really, 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 really excited about going. And I think the
Me
closer it
too.
gets, the more I'm like,
The more it feels like, oh boy, it's really about to
yes.
happen.
Yes. And I'm like, oh gosh, I've got so much to do. I've got to get all these things together and make sure I have everything that I need. And I'm always like, I have like a
You
list
have
and I'm like, do I
right.
have this? Do I have this? Do I have this? Do I have this? If I
I
don't
had,
have
I
those,
had to make a list because, like you, I had to be very organized. I was like, okay, check off for work first. That's the main thing. Check it
yes,
off, and then get your airport stuff situated. And
yes,
then once you get on the plane, you'll be straight.
yes, yes. And then, I always think like if I have those main things that I have to bring with me, I can always find something else somewhere if I like forget like a toothbrush or,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. But I have to have like, I need my phone, I need my wallet, I need like my medicine. Like, there's certain phone charger, that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. Well, is there anything that you want, I guess, that you want people to kind of take from our conversation about like your story with Star Wars?
Um, love what you love. That's what I always preach. That's what I always say. It doesn't matter what it is, and this is mostly towards like the ladies who love Star Wars because there's a big controversy about girls can love Star Wars. Just love what you love,
Mm-hmm.
and this goes for both
Yeah,
genders, but mostly to y'all. Just love what you
yeah,
love. You know, doesn't matter when you started. Like I started like kind of late, but I'm a Star Wars fan. You know, and just be your authentic self, really, because that's what I try to do every time I make a video. I don't pretend to be somebody. Like when I make a spinning video or anything, I don't try to pretend. Unless I make it obvious I'm doing this based off of someone, I don't pretend I'm somebody. I do
yeah,
myself. Everyone has their own style. The same way we all have our own laugh, we all have our own style with content, spinning a saber, whatever it is. So just be
yeah.
and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just be you, just flow with it. That's how I do it.
Yeah, I don't know who said it, but someone said, I think it's an actor and I can't remember who it was, but like nobody can be you but you, you know?
Right, right.
So why try to be somebody else?
Exactly.
I think it is hard in a world of so much like social media and different things that there's a lot of pressure. And sometimes I think we can even like put it on ourselves more than other people do sometimes. And, we feel like we have to fit a certain mold or we have to look a certain way or act a certain way or dress a certain way or whatever. And it's like, most of the time it, that's really you just like being afraid of something and most of the time people are going to be supportive and they're going to love you for who you are and you know and if they don't you'll find the people that
Right,
do
right. You
you
gotta
know
post, and this ain't just for like content creation, it's for everything. It's for life in general. You gotta do what you like. The right people will come, the wrong people will
hmm
leave. That's how life works. That's how it's always worked,
yeah
you know. I like Star Wars, and let me tell you, well, I won't say I lost friends, like they left, but I can honestly say I had a big friend group when I graduated high school in 17, and then like as the years went on, it kind of dwindled away, whatever.
yeah
And now that I'm posting Star Wars, I still have like those friends on Facebook that are friends, but they don't really follow. The ones that actually comment and support, those people are I consider the friends. The ones that they'll stay, and the others just, you know, you don't need them. Because
yeah
I remember years ago, my dad had told me I was a child at the time, maybe like 7. It didn't make sense to me, but I was uh I was just getting ready to come to actual school. Like I had graduated Montessori, going into the 6th grade, maybe 5th grade. I was sad I was gonna leave all my friends, because it was a different school, so they weren't going to it. So I was like, but I didn't want to go, and I told him I didn't want to go. I'm gonna miss my friends. He goes, and he said it so bluntly, but like years later, I understand it. He goes, friends come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, I'm like, I see what he means because I've been through. I'm sure all of us have, but I've been through so many friends. Yeah, I'm cautious about who I meet. Like, I don't
Yeah,
befriend
same.
you so fast. I don't brother sister you too quickly until like I get to know you. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm guilty. I was guilty of that. You know,
Yeah.
not everyone's your friend. Not everyone's your brother sister. You got to really get to know someone.
Not everybody
And
has
that's
your best interest in
right,
mind,
right. And
Like,
the most dangerous friend's a fake friend. Only they can
hmm.
betray you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And man, so
So
I've had my
true.
fair share of them too.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's hard too, because like there are people that are like that. And then sometimes life just happens, and it's
Just
not
happens.
like,
When something big happens in life, like for us, like I said earlier, we went through a really rough time 2 years ago. Our dad passed away. He
oh my
had
gosh, I'm so
cancer. Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. He had. That's actually how I started creating in the first place. But
Okay.
long story short, he got sick. Got cancer, and like we were saying earlier, Star Wars helps us to kind of like cope with what's going on with the real world. That's how it was with us. So I started making content while also helping him to fight or whatever. And it was during that time I noticed who was really there for us. Like on my side of my friends, on my brother's side, those who
Yeah.
left, those who stayed, those who was really there, that kind of thing. So when life hits you like that, you really know who's there for you, kind of thing.
It's
But
very
it's
true.
been 2 years. So I'm doing a lot better now. You know, and like I
Well,
said earlier, yeah, and like I said
grief is a
earlier, it
funny
was
thing. It
mostly
doesn't,
yeah,
time,
it's this. It's
yeah.
still there. Like I will literally be at work sometimes, and it just hits me. Like it will be a
Yeah.
memory of not even a memory, but it was like what's a memory? But it's a memory of like just
It is
seeing him in
something,
pain, just seeing him
triggers
sad or
something.
seeing
Yeah.
something triggering.
Yeah.
I can just be pushing. I could be pushing buggies. Like I said, I work in a grocery store, and it just hits me. I have to stop in my tracks. Like what happened happened, Shay. Just get over. Not get over it, but like you'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just move on my day. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll see customers with like a pouch on their back or whatever with an oxygen tank in the nose, a tube in the
Hmm.
nose. I don't know what that is because my dad had it too, and those kind of things can
Yeah.
trigger it as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like you said, it's a funny thing. It happens. It can happen at any moment, really. You can be happy. It happens, and then you're happy again. And it's not going. I don't think it's going to go away per se, but it will get better. With time. Like I said, it was 2 years ago. It's crazy that it's been 2 years. It'll be I guess 3 years next month because it was September.
Wow. Yeah.
So I don't want to get too deep on that, but yeah,
That's okay.
that's basically how we started creating was
Yeah.
because we needed an outlet to like I guess express ourselves, and we love Star Wars because at the time Star Wars was I think the Kenobi series was coming out, and we was watching that,
Hmm.
we was making TikToks on it, so that was always fun. That was a fun era. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of how it started for me,
Well,
for
one,
both
thank
of
you
us
for
really.
sharing that. And
Yes,
two,
I could
I'm
talk about
very
it more. Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, I
yeah,
am. I know there is, I have not lost a parent, but I can empathize with the loss that I have experienced with family members. And there is nothing anyone can say to make anything better or
yeah,
to make it feel better or to hurt any less. And yeah, I'm sorry that you guys had to go through that. Like
yeah.
it sucks.
It
Like
was yeah, it was horrible.
there's nothing else really that
Mhm.
anyone can even
But what's crazy too is
say.
that my friends, like I was saying, the ones that I thought were friends, that one, they didn't like call, text, check on me, my brother, nothing like that. They saw my post and all that, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on the other side of that coin, that's when I started meeting all my TikTok friends. I have some friends even now who I've never met yet, is the key word yet, who were there for us when it happened.
Yeah. And they're
Who I'm
like,
like,
I haven't even met you and you're
right. And I haven't
asking me
even
if
met
I'm
you yet.
okay.
You ask me am I okay, you check me,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And the day he actually passed away, I'll never forget it. It was a few of my friends who was like, they offered their condolences. They were there from day one, and I was just like, I will never forget that. To be honest with you, stuff like that you don't forget. You
No.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can guarantee you
So I
that your
hold them
dad
like here.
is so proud of you guys
I hope
and
he is.
is just thrilled at everything that you guys have done in the 2 years that you have, you know, turned something from finding, something to do as, whether it's an escape or distraction or just something you enjoy into what you do now to where you're able to share that joy with so many other people. It's
Yeah,
a
because like I said,
it's
it
a
was just to
reflection of his light that he had
right.
for you guys, and now you're sharing that through this. So don't ever forget that.
I
You're
won't.
continuing his legacy through making these videos and bringing a smile to other people's face.
If I can make someone's day better, then I've succeeded.
Yeah. Yeah.
More than just spinning sabers. I try to my page. I want it to be safe for everybody. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to tolerate any ignorance either. Not ignorance. That's the wrong word. Nonsense either. If
Yeah.
it's I'm not there to defend
It
myself,
can be
I will
ignorant
defend my
sometimes
friends.
though too. That's okay to
I'm a very fast speaker, so sometimes I just I'm not using the right words enough.
It's
But
okay. I do the same thing.
like I get negative comments. I'm sure we all do. But I get really comments all the time because I'm a black kid. I'm very small. Sometimes I still get those comments and I just look at it like this, hit block and keep it moving. Whereas I would used to like
Yeah.
young Shay would probably get like upset for like 2 days straight over one comment
Yeah.
of a dude who doesn't even have like content or a profile picture. But it
Yeah.
depends on the comment too sometimes because you can insult me all day long, but when I see you insulting my other friends, that's when I step in.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I don't play that. Do
Yeah.
not go for my friends.
Yeah, I get really protected of my friends and
Yes,
my family and things like that too. I'm like, you
especially
can say
family.
whatever you
Yeah,
want to me, but don't come for my people,
right, right. Because I'm an expert. I'm good at comebacks.
Yeah, I love it.
Always was.
Got a little Princess Leia in you, little Carrie. Carrie was,
There you go. You gotta have that. Like, don't
and
let
I
my
mean,
smile and demeanor
she went
fool
through
you.
some
I'll
stuff
go there.
too, and she still was her funny, shining. I mean, she was real. She definitely kept
She
it
was real,
real,
yes.
you know. But yeah, yeah,
And that's a
yeah.
good trait I
Well,
think all of us as creators should have too. Don't be afraid to defend yourself. I think Till Sean had said it on Older Public, one of the levels where you first meet her. There's no shame in defending yourself. Now she meant physically, with the flesh raiders
yeah,
attacking the temple, but I think that goes for like life itself as well. Don't always turn the other cheek. No, if you need to defend yourself, don't be afraid to,
yeah. And if
because
you see
my
something
saber's ready to eat
happening,
everyone.
yeah, yeah. And I think too, I feel sometimes a responsibility to call out things and be like, hey, this behavior is not okay because
Yes.
you need people also that are not just going, oh, this is bad, let's not do this, but actually being like, this is happening, it's not okay, this is wrong and it's not going to be tolerated. That's
And
why
I've
from
actually
the
done that on multiple occasions too.
yeah,
Like I said, I make speech videos all the time and on very important issues just like that. Like I think it was when the Acolyte was starting to really take off and we had
yeah,
got to the third episode, which was the most controversial. I think
mm-hmm,
It was Carly King. It was Carly King.
mm-hmm,
She's the reason
yeah.
why I started making content. One of my favorite
Oh, I
creators of
love
all.
that.
But yes, she was posting about the Acolyte and she was really excited. She loves it. But then she
Yeah,
started, of course, getting comments from those people who don't like it.
yeah,
And it was a tweet she made where she had used the word bullying, which I really don't tolerate because we're adults. Who bullies an adult?
mm-hmm,
But that's what
mm-hmm,
was happening. She was getting bullied because she liked the show. So I made a video about it, showed the screenshots. I was bringing awareness to what was going on. Like, this is not okay. Like, you can just like the show all day long, but you're not about to bully someone for what they like, especially when we're grown. Come on now. We
yeah,
all have we all have bills. Some of us are in college. Some of us have kids. Let's be real. Bullying is
yeah,
middle school and high school stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And what's funny is after that we became mutuals.
I love it. It's
We
just
haven't met. We haven't met yet, but we're mutuals.
I
Carly,
mean,
if you
in
see this,
middle
I love
school
your
and high
content.
school, is like when you should have learned that that's not okay.
Right, exactly.
Like you should have
I'm not saying
learned,
that's
like,
where it
hey,
should be. Bullying ain't cool at all, but
yeah,
to hear an adult say I'm getting bullied is crazy to me.
I remember one time I got called an old like I what did someone said that I was probably using like a fake picture. They get that girls really don't like Star Wars, that I was probably like an 80 something year old man in his mom's basement with a chin beard or something. Sense. What?
Come on now. You're
That
saying
was
you're
like
saying you're a
years. That
catfish.
was years ago when I was like still on Twitter, and I said something. I was like talking about Star Wars or something, and I
Twitter
was
can be
like,
pretty ruthless, I've
whatever.
noticed.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I
I
had to
don't do
take my
that
own break
anymore
sometimes.
for my mental health. I can't.
I get you. I get you. I feel you.
But it can be wild out there. But I think there is like quote from the sequels, which I know is also controversial, but there's more of us, like
More of us,
I
yeah.
gen- I genuinely do believe that. I genuinely do believe that like there are more people who, even if you don't like the same show or you will have valid criticisms of something um in a kind way, and that's okay. Like it's okay to not have that something's not your favorite. It's okay to say this X, Y, and Z wasn't my favorite. And if you are someone that wants to say why, that's okay. If you don't want to say why, that's also okay too. Like I know there's a lot of people that are like, I just want to talk about what I enjoyed. It's not because they're trying to be like toxic positive, which there are those people, but they're just saying, hey, I don't want to focus on the negative. Like I want to focus on like what I enjoyed about this. Was everything my favorite? No, but this is what I enjoyed about it. And so I don't think there's like a right way to like, I mean, we know there's a wrong way, but outside of that, like there's different ways that you can express like your opinion or not express your opinion. And I think
Right.
that a lot of people, if it just started with, in my opinion,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
blah blah blah, that would help so much of the discourse. And I think it's an awareness, right? It's an awareness of who you're talking to, what you're talking about, and what words that you're using. Because words are important. Words are
Words are
powerful. They
very
can
important, yes.
be very hurtful or they can really help people. And so just being aware in that heat of that moment of like what you're typing to somebody, like you can make their day better or you can make their life worse. And
Exactly.
so that's why in the beginning of like, I might have forgotten in a couple of episodes because, I'm new at this, I'm doing this by myself, but I always try to say, like, I expect all the comments on my stuff to be respectful. If they're not, I will either have a dialogue with you or they're going to be deleted and you'll be blocked. Like that's
Exactly.
not something I'm messing with. I know there are some people that they don't moderate their stuff. That's their choice. But for me, I want what I put out there to be a safe space for people. Racism's not going to happen on my page. It's just not. People aren't going to say mean things to people. Like there is no reason for that. Even if you disagree with them, even if you whatever, you're not going to put that stuff on my thing. That's just a boundary I'm setting and I will never apologize for it. So
You're doing the right thing because that's a really good boundary.
I don't want it to be that way. It doesn't have to
Hmm.
be. And I think that again, if people just thought a little bit more about what they say, because sometimes when I have responded to people, they're like, oh my gosh, that's not what I meant at all, and I'm like, okay, well, like, yeah, like, don't phrase it that way. Like, it's one of those things where, I don't know. I'm a person that, I don't know if I learned it from a therapist or from a friend's recommendation or what it was, but I will type out things in my phone, like responses, or when I'm hurt in a situation. Like it's almost like I'm writing a letter to that person. And then I feel so much better because I was able to vent and like get it out. And then I reread those things and I'm like, oh, that's not okay.
Mm,
I'm now being selfish, or I'm being like not thoughtful or empathetic or giving this person grace or trying to understand it from like their perspective. And it helps me check myself. And it also helps me learn how to express if I am frustrated or hurt in a good way. So, like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that would help somebody else. Like if they're listening, they don't know how to do
it
it.
could.
But
That's a good method because it's
yeah,
like the write out letter and throw it out, but on a phone.
yeah, yeah. I'll just kind of type things, and then I will honestly say 9 times out of 10, I don't post it or send it to somebody because I
Yeah.
realize it's not something that needs to be said. My feelings were
Hmm.
just hurt in
Time,
the
place, and
moment.
everything. You know,
Yeah,
probably not the
yeah,
best.
yeah, exactly. Well, I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. It shouldn't be that way. But
I think you know
I
what the thing about
applaud
being a
you for
creator
how
is
you
that
handle everything.
yeah, the thing about being a creator is that you're going to experience some, I'm not going to say you're going to experience hate per se, but you're going to get some criticism, negative comments are a thing no matter who you are, because no matter what you do, someone's going to hate on it. That's just how life goes.
Yeah.
It's how
Yeah.
you choose to respond to it is how you go about it really. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first started, when I would get mean comments about my body or, color of my skin, I would be like upset for days. I'm not talking about like a day and I get over. I'm talking about like days over one comment.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, I had like a whole bunch of my friends who've done this before, longer than me, or friends who are also people of color creators, and they would just tell me like, Shay, you can't let that get to you because like they're not worth it. They are not brave enough to show their face. They don't have any content of their own, so they really can't speak on your situation. Not situation, but like your life. They don't know who you are. So, you know, and I'm not saying I'm immune to it. Like racist comments and body shaming comments still hurt, but like I'm better at it, you know what I'm saying? Cuz like,
Yeah.
over time it gets to be very annoying. Like if I make a post and I get one, okay. But I've made posts before where like an acolyte post, for example, walls of comments. And it weren't even about the acolyte being a terrible show, it was about me liking it, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it was like you saying, you can be respectful if you don't like it, but if you're those people, delete. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, and I'm not ashamed of it at all because it happens to all of us. So trying to do it the best I can. Because the main goal for me is, like I said, I do this purely for fun. Like I love Star
Mhm.
Wars. So I love making Star Wars content. I love making Saber content. I love making my own edits, like Force Lightning, and if you go to my page, you'll see it. All those kind of edits.
I love it. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do that for me. I do it for fun, and I don't do it to like try to please the audience. Because I've seen like YouTubers and other TikTokers. They'd be like, okay, I gotta make a video. If I don't make a video this day, I'm gonna lose so and so followers. No, I don't even follow that mindset because like you're
Yeah.
gonna get what I post. I have a life. We all have a life.
Mhm.
Some of us do this like this is our life. This is their life, but not me. I'm not there yet. So I just do it for fun.
Yeah.
So and that's how you should always be as a creator, to be honest. Because like if you do that, if you follow that route, then it's gonna feel like a chore, and it's not gonna feel like fun, to be honest. And I never
It
want it
turns
to feel
into a
like that.
job instead of
Right.
like something fun. It's like, oh, I have to do this. Not I get to
Like
do
some
this, or this is
gamers,
fun to do.
right? Like some gamers have. I've even seen some gamers like I've got to post this. I got to play this game for y'all. Whatever. No, 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 no. Don't even do that because you don't want
Yeah.
it to feel like a job per se. Like you just want to do it for fun.
Yeah.
At least that's the
Yeah. And
goal.
if you need to take a break, whether it's a job or it is for fun, it's okay to do that. It's
Yes.
like I saw a video the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like such a great way to explain it. But it was about like how her kid and taking like mental health days off of school for the kid, and like, oh well, if your kid can't go to school, like when like she was like, when I was younger, if I couldn't go to
Ah,
school, I couldn't watch TV, I couldn't go do anything. She was like, I think this reinforces then when you go into a job that you can't take days off.
yeah.
Like if you can't let your kid take a day off of school, because they're sick or they need a mental health day and they need a break, and let them do the things that they enjoy, how are you as an adult going to then learn that it's okay to use your PTO or take a sick day or whatever, like it creates that culture of putting all the other things ahead of like your physical and mental or, spiritual health, if that's something for you, like you're going to put everything else ahead of that, you're going to burn out, and it's going to be to where you're going to be forced to take some kind of a break because you have
Right,
to.
right, right. Because I saw
So,
this quote, I think it's like, if you don't take a break, your body will, like, for you. And like he was saying, taking a break is very important, because I've taken sometimes hiatuses. Like I wouldn't
yeah.
post for like months or weeks. Okay, it's nothing wrong with that. You need to take a break for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It could be for like you said, you might feel burnt out, or you don't have no ideas. Whatever the reason might be, if you need a break, just take a break. The internet's not going nowhere. It's always gonna be here.
Yeah.
Come back when you're ready.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's for every creator
Exactly.
or new creator listening.
Yes.
Because I've
Yes.
done this. I
It's
want to say
okay to
I'm
do.
not a pro, but I've done this a while. I've learned some things. I wanted to make a video. I haven't really had time yet, but I want to make a video on it, like how to be a creator. Some stuff I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help. And that's a big
That'd
one
be
right
awesome.
now. Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely do that.
Yeah, I think I've had so many people reach out and be like, "Do you need help with anything?" Or "I do this and this helped me," or, "How are you doing this?" For me to know if I wanted to do something like this, and everybody so far has been like so nice and welcoming and encouraging, and that's been honestly kind of surprising because
That's
I
good.
didn't
I'm
know
glad to
what to
hear that.
expect.
That's good.
Yeah.
'Cause I have
Yeah.
I have mutuals too who have their own podcast, but like I'd say you're doing a really good job, because like
Oh, thank you.
you are absolutely, because they do theirs they have hosts, and you're doing this on your own. Like I feel like this is your show, and you already said you're new to it. You could have fooled me, to be honest. That's
Thanks.
what I'm saying.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm figuring it out a little bit as I go, and I've just tried to be honest with that with people, and it is what it is. But it's one of those things where just like you had your lightsaber hilt, towards the beginning that you were looking at, and you're like, this was my first,
It was
like
my
one
first.
outside of
Well, it
the
was
other one that you
technically my
had.
second, but it was my first LGT's hill. My first was
Yes.
boy. The
Right.
flick.
Right.
If
And
I gotta be very technical.
yeah, no, you're good. You're
Yeah,
good. And it's like I know that I'll look back on like the beginning of this and be
yeah.
like,
You're
"Oh
gonna
my
look back on like
gosh, like
this episode and the previous,
yeah,
and be
yeah,
like,
this is
wow,
the
I really
beginning.
started
This is
there.
my first season of doing this." And yeah, yeah, I don't know. It'll be fun to
I'm
look
glad
back
I have
on
a
because
little
I
bit.
have a hard time. I don't know if it's my ADHD or just like being a recovering perfectionist or something, but it's like it's hard for me to do something and not know that it's going to be 100% imperfect the first time I do it. And so whether it's starting something new or whether it is picking something back up that I haven't done in a while, it's hard for me to mentally like go past that barrier that I put in my mind. And like when I put the first episode out, I cried. Like I really did. I cried because it wasn't like a fear of putting it out there. It wasn't like I felt like I had this huge accomplishment and I thought all these people were going to listen and I was like nervous. It was just in the fact that I actually started something, planned out an idea, and brought it to
Not it to
life.
life. That's what's up.
Yeah, and it was just such a huge achievement for me personally because like, and at 34, I've had all these ideas of things that I've wanted to do, but I've never actually had the courage, I think, to do the follow through to actually like do it. And
Yeah, yeah,
so, yeah, just like you were saying with making your videos and the content and learning the different lightsaber tricks, like it's taught you confidence, it's taught you different things. And I feel like this is kind of doing the same thing for
yeah.
me. And it's all started a little bit because of Star Wars, which is crazy.
Hey, what better way to start than Star Wars? But
Exactly.
seriously, you're doing amazing.
Well,
I'm loving
thank
it.
you. You are too. You are too. I love all of
And
your
like you
videos
said,
and
your first
things.
one, it might not feel perfect, but like me and my brother talk about this all the time. Anything you make the first time is not gonna be perfect. Like
Yeah.
my brother, I don't know if he's listening or not, but hey, bro, he he's a Star Wars creator too, but he does mostly like he likes to draw, and he
That's
tells me all the time
amazing.
whenever he draws like his character, like the first one he ever draws, okay, and then when he perfects it, he'll look back on that like, oh, okay, it's not perfect. And I think Mr. Miyagi had said it in one of the Karate Kids movies. I love the Karate Kid, by the way, because I'm
Yeah.
martial artist as well. But he had told
Yeah.
Julie it was the next Karate Kid, which was the one after the third. She was trying to learn a trick off a rock, like an aerial trick, and she's like, "It's impossible." He goes, "Anything try first time impossible, but must try." And I apply
Yeah.
that to real life as well. So what you're doing here, you must try by making that first episode, and look where you are now.
Yeah.
I must tried with my saber tricks, and look where I
And
am now.
here I am on my 20th one.
There you go. Oh, see, look at you.
It's a practice, like
You
if
gotta just jump.
from martial arts, like practice. I love yoga, and it's a practice, and it's like it's one of those things where it teaches you that you're not going to come to, like, in yoga, you're not going to come to your mat and it's not going to be perfect,
Yeah,
even if you have a week where you did it every day. Even if that's the case, that last day might be harder than that first day. It could be mental, it could be something sore, it could be something going on outside of being there on your mat, but it is, you still showed up, you still put in the work, you still are putting in that effort to practice something. And it's not to get better, it's to make, I don't know, yourself grow and to make
right.
yourself better, and in turn maybe be able to share that and help someone else and make
That's my
their
main
life a
goal.
little
Like
bit better.
whatever I've learned, I want to help as many people as I can. Like the stuff I've learned as a creator, I want to help as many people as
Yeah.
possible. You know,
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
because I'm not the only one who likes Star Wars, and I'm not the only one who wants to do this. Anyone who wants to
Yeah.
be a creator, just do it. Like Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even think about it, because you think about it. If you think about it too much, you're gonna talk yourself out of it. Just
Yeah.
don't. Do
It's like Yoda again. Do or do not. There is no try,
it.
right?
Exactly.
Mr. Miyagi and Yoda, I think, would be friends.
They would.
Well, Shay, thank you so much for coming on. I had so much fun talking to you about
I enjoyed it.
everything.
Thanks for
And
having me.
yeah, and thanks for being just like honest and open about things and sharing your journey with everybody. I say this every time. I always feel so honored for people to come on and trust for this to be a space that they can share. Not just about Star Wars and what they love, but also about their life. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you in Chicago too,
Oh, I
which I
can't wait to
know
see.
you're going to be at the Legion Sabers booth, right?
Yes, we'll be with Legion Sabers. I think they have their own sign too, like neon. It's neon yellow, I believe. But yeah, Legion Sabers. I'll be there. I'll be spinning my saber. My brother will be there too. I'll teach you how to spin a saber. We'll start
I
with
will. I
we'll start
will.
with
And
saber
it's going to
first.
be a challenge, let me tell you.
Anyone can. You know how they said anyone can cook. Anyone can spin a saber. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's true. It just might be a little more difficult for me. Well, thank you again, and I cannot wait to see you guys in Chicago.
I can't either. We can't either.
Thanks for joining me today on Tales of the Force. This podcast was hosted, produced, and created by me, Jessica McNair, with music by Michael Hoover. Don't forget, our stories of hope is the force of this fandom. They are a powerful ally to each and every one of us. Life creates them, makes them grow. Their energy surrounds us and binds us together. Luminous beings we all are, not this crude matter. May the force be with you always.